Fear is the wall between you and the awareness of your divinity. Let's bust through that wall. Hey guys, it's John here in the studio having a fabulous day. I hope you're having a fabulous one as well. I'm sitting here in the chair that I sit in the morning when I do my sitting in love, and I thought I'd uh, make this part of the studio as well. It's great because I can come in here, I can just totally relax in this darkened space. This all the windows have been blocked out in this space, and I'm controlling all the light in this space. So this makes it a nice dark space to come in and just relax. Let's talk about fear. Understanding fear's nature is to understand that it's a primal reaction. It's rooted in survival. It's not rooted in an esoteric truth or an ideology. Fear activates the fight or flight response and cuts off our cognitive awareness, our clear awareness of experience. Actors on Broadway are trained, if they forget their lines, they are trained to exhale and relax all their muscles to shut off that primal fight or flight response. And all their cognitive reasoning comes back, and all their lines come right back into their heads. Fear narrows vision down to a threat, and so we see it as a threat, and we are focused solely on the threat itself. But it keeps you stuck in the body identification. Now, what's another word for body identification? Ego. It keeps us aware of our individual self, and the ego is designed to have threat assessment, to assess the threats that are coming at us in the world. Fear is one of those ideologies that is totally used by political structures, religious structures, and even social structures. People will often scare you about, oh my God, if you don't do this, you're going to have this. It doesn't matter what they're saying; they're eliciting fear. And religion uses fear to control with hellfire and damnation and eternal punishment, and it's preached by the people who you're told or you're supposed to follow and believe. Fear of God is praised rather than questioned. People say, if God is love, should I fear love? Fear itself keeps believers obedient through the terror that these teachers, these priests, these ideologists, these politicians are preaching. They're literally saying, I am helping you. I am the one who can solve this. I am the only one who can solve this, they often say. Fear creates the illusion of being separate. When I had my first regression, one of the things that happened was Joshua laid his hand on my chest, and I had the experience of crossing over and feeling the purity of God's love. When the regressionist said, what's the next most important moment? The next most important moment was feeling my fear, feeling my anxiety, feeling my stresses, feeling the things that made me feel separate. Because fear is the illusion of our separation from love. Fear is the illusion of it. And we come here to experience those fears and that anxieties so that we can have the baseline to measure love against. But we've been told consistently that we can bring the kingdom of heaven to earth. We can find nirvana here and now. Fear, though it's primal, men have made it their personal construct to sway or to subjugate people to their own ideologies. And in doing so, it convinces you that God is far away. It drives the beliefs that you are not enough. It hides the truth that the divinity is within you. It creates conflict, and it creates powerlessness in the idea that you're gripped by fear, so you have no power. Fear freezes action. Fear is always the paralyzer. When you're not doing something, there's always a fear that's stopping you from doing it. It kills creativity. The most successful actors are the ones who release their fears and anxieties and present themselves without fear of judgment. And it's the same thing in life. If you're presenting yourself in fear of judgment, you're going to paralyze yourself because you're looking for validation outside of yourself, and life begins to shrink instead of expanding. Not enough is a voice that is in your head, but it's not a voice that you were choosing. It was a voice that you were indoctrinated into. In fear's eyes, you're never worthy. And if people can keep you in fear, then what happens is they profit from your fear. If you think that you're not spiritual enough or you're not holy enough, perfectionism becomes the cage. The fear of not being good enough puts you in a cage of doubt.
And now, a quick word from our sponsor. Coffee Time with John. This channel runs off coffee, so get your coffee and tea at johnsjoe.com.
Fighting fear gives fear more actual force. Mother Teresa said that she would go to a pro-peace rally, but not an anti-war rally, because the fighting the war is focusing on the war. When you suppress fear, you're actually pushing it further into the subconscious, which means it's going to come out in other ways, and fear grows stronger in your silence. The way you overcome fear is to realize that fear is not rooted in the present. Fear is always an emotional reaction to either past experience or a negative outcome in the future. But fear in the present is just the reaction itself. And the way you break that fear cycle is, as I've often said, is simply exhale. Shut off the primal fight or flight response, which is holding breath in your body so that you have a reserve to run or fight. Each breath is a return to the present, and fear cannot survive in the present because fear's roots are not in the present. Fear is just a reaction to the past or the future. I get up every morning and I sit in love, and I just come into this room and I exhale and I feel that feeling of fearlessness. And love rises as fear falls away, because the fears of the world are what makes the chatter in our minds. Fear becomes the doorway of growth when you decide to understand that it has no power over you. It has no sway over who you are. And every fear you have is a lesson of what to release. And on the other side of those fears are freedom. The freedom to be you, the freedom to not worry about validation, the freedom to not care how somebody judges you. That freedom to be you fully is the awareness of your divinity beyond fear. That feeling of I am just me. And the stillness of the eternal self is where fear vanishes in silence. When you hear the chatter of the world telling you you're not good enough, silence the chatter. No, I am good enough. In this moment, my awareness remains untouched by your ideologies. The real you emerges. You start to become the full expression of who you are and what you're being. You're not fear, but you're awareness itself. And fear is only temporary. The sun is always shining, but the clouds sometimes hide it. The clouds are the fear. Awareness of the fact that the sun is always shining is timeless. It's always there. And as long as you remember it's always there, you become the observer of your own divinity. You start to see that you have released the fear. Buddha said the secret to enlightenment is the eradication of fear. Your presence is the direct representation of your connection. And fear divides you. It's from that connection. Love unites you because love is the core. Love is who we all are. All beings are seen as one in all the ancient traditions. They talk about the oneness. And divinity is experienced not in your focus on the individual self in that experience, but your individual self as part of one. And it's not imagined, because people who elicit fears in you are connecting to you and getting you fearful, which means they're one with you. Their action with you is one. But you have the conscious choice to not succumb to their fears and anxieties. You have the conscious choice to be something different. Fear is contrast, not truth. Fear teaches you what is false rather than real. And fear becomes a servant to the love that you create. You feel that fear, you feel that anxiety, you go, oh, that's just fear. What did Yoda say? Oh, named must your fears be, before banish them you can. Named must those fears be, before banish them you can. Start to identify your fears. Be grateful when they arise, because this is the thing I'm releasing. Practice exhaling. Just whenever you feel stressed, whenever your body starts holding air, let it out. And that one exhale reconnects you to being present. Make it your default. Something doesn't feel good, exhale before you react. Become an action hero, not a reactions hero. Build awareness that you have the muscle to release. The exhale is the muscle of release. And you can build that muscle of your own divinity by practicing simply exhaling. When you see someone else in fear, help them find a way to exhale. Help them find a solution for their outcome. Strengthen community around you with your honesty about the fears you're letting go. Show them that fear no longer rules you. Nobody wants to be told what to do, but everyone would like to change their life into something more loving. And the way you do that is by example, not by telling them what to do. Remember that fear is always the biggest lie. It's the untruth that is not in our present. It is rooted elsewhere. And you can break free of it just by simply a simple act of choosing not to let it grab you and simply exhaling it out and away. And that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.